Trading Nut, episode 130.
Yeah, that really taught me that when you've done the homework, when you've done the research, you've got your trading plan, when the trade is there, just take it. Even if you feel the hesitation, even if you feel a bit fearful, just take it.
The market's going to do something. Your job is not to fight it.
The market never, ever runs away. It's always there.
That personal diary of trading will make you a much better trader than...
I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Don't focus on the monetary side.
Trying to make too much money on a trade is what I have seen killed every trader.
Your losses offer you some of the greatest insight you can find into your mistakes.
Relax, learn the process.
Candlestick pattern trading is a freaking trap.
Don't be in a rush to become a millionaire.
Let the market tell you what the market wants to tell you.
This podcast is not financial, trading, or investing advice of any kind. What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the Trading Nut podcast. I'm your host, Cam Hawkins, and today we've got Rodrigo from my sponsor, City Traders Imperium, here on the show. Now, I've been working with Rodrigo for the sponsorship for quite a while now, and I haven't really got to know him as a trader. I did this interview, and I was blown away. So, Rodrigo, not only does he work for CTI, but he also worked for a hedge fund in London, or it might have been a prop firm in London, and the insights and knowledge that he shares with us today, and even the crazy stories that he shares about what happened during his time at that firm, are going to amaze you, right? So this is some amazing stuff that you're going to get to hear here first on Trading Nut, and also he does do a video, or he's doing a video where he's basically going to show you what he does and how he trades in the market, which is coming. I have not seen this yet, so this is coming. So be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, or at least subscribe to something here on Trading Nut to find out when that video drops. It's going to be a doozy. Now, what else is going on here over at Trading Nut? We've got the Scalper vs. Scalper kicking off again. If you don't know what that is a live market trading competition where we're doing an hour and a half of scalping. Things have changed up with this one. We've got the results hitting the website in pretty much real time, sort of a slight delay, a chance for you guys to get on board and actually follow these guys in real time, scalping this market over the hour and a half period. We're going to be looking at around about the London Open, so hopefully if you're awake for that, you can join in live. And what else are we doing? Oh, we're using real live accounts for this as well. So these guys are doing this with my sponsor, Hanko Trade. Guys, they're going to have live accounts set up and be trading during that time, and it should be fun. It should be fun. They're actually using a bit of software that I created as part of my Robot Builders Club to place the trades on the MetaTrader platform. So if you guys are looking to build anything, automate fully or semi, then check out my Robot Builders Club. I'm still taking on members. If you do want to join that, their store is still open at the moment. I don't know how much longer it's going to be open for, but yeah, go and check it out there on Trading Nut. There's a free course that I offer, which takes you from A to B and gets you into a position where you can make a decision on this. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get on with the show from Rodrigo. Hey folks, my sponsors, City Traders Imperium, have just launched some amazing changes to their funded trader program you got to check out. You can now skip the whole evaluation, trade gold as well as Forex, plus they've increased the drawdown you're allowed in both the evaluation and when funded. With CTI, it's even faster and easier to reach up to $4 million in funding with a 50 to 70% profit share. Click the link in the description to find out what else has changed. All right, folks, here we are on Trading Nut. We've got Rodrigo here from Essex in the UK, about to share his story with us. Now, he started off, well, actually, we're going to find out how you really got into the very start of your trading, but I know you worked for a prop trading firm in Mayfair and now work for City Traders Imperium, and one of the big traders there as well. So, Rodrigo, welcome to the show. How are things over there in the UK?
Thanks, Cam. Yeah, things are going well. I'm just at home doing my thing here. So, yeah, everything's fine.
And working from home for you is just a normal thing? It's not a special COVID lockdown kind of thing?
Yeah, I've been doing it since before the lockdown, so I'm quite used to it. It's something that I've always wanted to do as a trader.
Cool. Right, well, let's dive into your story. So how did you get started in trading?
So it all started in 2014, and it was my cousin who did one of those 2-day courses to teach him support and resistance. He showed me what it's all about, and at the time I was working in sales and marketing. I was doing it for almost a decade. You know, your regular sort of, it wasn't even 9 to 5, it was like 10-hour days, 6 days a week. So it was something that I wanted to get out of. And what attracted me was just that freedom of being able to scale with trading. And so since then, I just been learning, watching every single YouTube video I could get my hands on, reading as many books as possible. And so when I started trading live in 2015, man, it's the typical sort of retail story, just huge ups, even bigger downs, huge lessons. But it's something that I knew, I just decided to absolutely burn every single bridge that any other option. I was like, no, I'm going to be a trader. There's nothing I can do. There's no turning back. I'm going to be a trader. So that's how it all began, with that sort of attitude and mindset. And what really helped me at the time as well, from 2015 onwards, was sharing the lessons that I was learning and the strategies that I was learning with other traders. So I started actually coaching and mentoring other traders and just sharing knowledge between each other whilst I was also working and learning. So that was my experience initially. It was just constantly working and learning. And then I think it was in 2016, I decided to go full time. Luckily, my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now, she said, look, I can crash out at her apartment and I can just trade, right? And so I did that for about a year and a half, and there was huge ups and downs. But that experience of being able to be in front of the charts 10 hours every single day, even on weekends, back testing, journaling, trading, that experience was just absolutely essential in my career as a trader, because I did actually focus a lot on learning psychology, and also gave me the ability to continue teaching. So I was doing one-to-ones, and it's something that I really enjoyed. And it was a bit both trying to help the students, but at the same time, the teaching was actually helping me. It was like learning twice. So things that I was learning, things that I was applying when I was teaching it, it was actually helping me solidify some of those key concepts and lessons within trading. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it.
Hey, just jumping in here with a message from my sponsor, Sage Strategies. Do you want to trade gold and crypto like the institutions? Well, now you can, and it's free for 14 days with Sage Strategies, fully automated trading strategies. Check out their live track records for 25 unique strategies, plus they'll host everything for you, which is perfect for beginners and advanced traders or investors. Simply sign up for their 14-day free trial at sagestrategies.io and experience it for yourself. Awesome. And so I mean, what kind of things did you stumble on that you thought, okay, well, these are and how did you stumble on them? These are the building blocks to my trading career and my strategy and mindset and all those sorts of things. What were the things that you ended up falling upon, and what things did you put by the wayside?
I think what really helped was I did a degree in psychology, and that degree it kind of opened my eyes to human behavior, both from like a sociological aspect, neurological aspect, behavioral aspect. And what I enjoyed most about that degree was the behavioral aspect, sort of like the positive psychology. And so what really attracted me to trading was how much you need to understand yourself and how much you need to understand the market psychology and other investors' behavior, other market participants. And so I've always leaned towards studying the behavioral aspect of trading. So I'm a huge fan of trading psychology books, podcasts, videos, articles, you name it. Like I've pretty much dived both feet into that topic, and I still do to this day. In fact, it's something that I listen to on audiobooks when I'm running, when I'm exercising. I'm just listening to pure trading psychology. So that's something I've always focused on. And everything that I do now, all of the processes that I do in my trading are focused around psychology, are focused around self-awareness, are focused around reaching peak performance. So that's something that I've always focused on. And at the same time, I've always coached other traders on, because that is the number one thing that traders struggle the most is trading psychology, is self-management, self-awareness, self-discipline. And so that's something that I'm very passionate about that. both for myself and also in helping and developing other traders.
Yeah, I think that's well, actually, we'll touch on the psychology aspect in a bit. But I mean, do you have any sort of stories around what you were doing on the charts for this 10 hours a day? Like, how are you filling your time, and what things were helping you get to the point where it's like, I've eliminated XYZ, I can now focus on this?
I think what I was doing back then was building the habit of journaling. From what I was researching and reading, having a trading journal was just something that was essential. It's very important. So a lot of the time, what I was doing is I was just making notes of what I was seeing in the markets and how I was responding to that, and then seeing what the outcome was and how I was responding to the outcome. So there was just building the habit of journaling and understanding what it means when I'm thinking certain things or what's triggering me to behave in a certain way. So those 10 hours were not just watching charts, but just reviewing what I did in real time. And also I was looking at how other traders, so some of my students, I was looking at how they were responding to certain situations, and I saw similarities. And so we were working together to build processes to at least identify triggers before we make, those self-sabotaging mistakes as traders.
And so you eventually, as you mentioned, 2016, you went full-time, you're at home doing it. I mean, how did the sort of financial side of it play out for you in terms of, did you have a big enough buffer to survive, or were you making a living from trading, or do you, making a living from the teaching the students? How did that work?
So from the financial side of things, I had a pot that was helping me out. But like I said before, my girlfriend, she was renting an apartment in London, and she was working, and already she was living there. She had covered about most of the expenses. But when I moved there, we had decided that initially I'll be covering, with some of my savings, some of the expenses, but then any income that I make from the students, that's also going to help with covering expenses and all of that. And all of the trading profits, my idea was to just compound it and just build my account up. But what ended up happening was that there was ups and downs. There was positive quarters, there was negative quarters. It was just ups and down, and soon enough, the savings start dipping down a little bit, right? It gets smaller and smaller. So because you're trying to compound an account, but at the same time, you don't want to withdraw too much. What ends up happening, and this is what happens to a lot of traders, especially some of my students, is like going from working part-time or working full-time to trading full-time. It's a big jump. And so it doesn't always go your way. So what I decided to do is I decided that the skills and the knowledge that I have, I'll be better off working for a professional prop firm. And so that's when I started looking into that, because I realized that doing it alone was very difficult, especially if you're trying to build like a 5-figure account, for example, to a 6-figure, 7-figure account, but doing it responsibly, not trying to flip it.
And so what was your next step after that realization?
So my next step was just to network as much as possible. What I was doing back in 2015, 2016, I was building up a social media following and just sharing ideas, sharing knowledge. I was offering my services as a coach, as a mentor. I used that sort of social media presence to just reach out to different prop firms, different traders that had, trading floors, but it was very difficult, such a competitive industry, and I was going on LinkedIn as well, searching, and it just took a long time to find anything. It wasn't until 2018 until I found an opportunity that I managed to get. But yeah, it takes a long time to actually get your foot into the industry.
And so you mentioned to me before the show you ended up at a prop firm in Mayfair somewhere. I mean, how did that all come about, and what was that like?
Right. So at the time, I was searching, trying to network as much as possible. And this opportunity came up where, because my cousin who actually got me into trading, he was working at this prop firm. So he managed to get that opportunity because of his track record. And so he was doing quite well on there. So he told me that there was an opportunity for a fundamental analyst. And so I jumped at that opportunity. I had to complete this report, and there was a deadline. It was like, I contacted him. I said, look, if you got any opportunities, let me know. But then he told me a bit too late when the deadline was in 24 hours to deliver this report. So you had to analyze the Euro USD. So you had to analyze the current fundamentals for that week, put it into report, and also do some technicals for potential direction, right? So that's something that I do anyway in my personal training. So I had less than 24 hours to do this in order to qualify. I think there was a couple hundred applications. And so I managed to get through that stage. And then I was invited for the interview. And so when I went for the interview, I wore my best suit. It was a 3-piece. I traveled all the way up to London, and then I met the fund manager there. And it was just the most fun interview I've ever had ever. It was just like the fund manager was like someone of my age, and they had a very strong track record. They knew exactly what they wanted, and we just clicked, right? It was the interview actually was held in a restaurant in Mayfair called Sexy Fish. So for everyone who knows about Mayfair, you probably would have walked past or seen Sexy Fish, right? This is it's like a sushi sort of restaurant, very high end, very plush, very posh, very nice, great food, great service, and I was just like, whoa, this is a crazy situation to be in an interview. But it didn't actually seem like an interview. It was just like a 3-hour, really pleasant conversation, very fun. And in the end, yeah, I got the job, I got the opportunity, and from there, what I wanted, because obviously fundamentals wasn't really my strength. My strength was more in the trading aspect. So it took a few months to actually develop myself, or I guess prove myself that I'm actually ready for to manage the firm's capital. So what I done was I was interacting every day with the traders. I was learning sort of the proprietary strategies. There was one trader who was a senior trader. He was the one mentoring and just ensuring that the traders were following the rules, sticking to rules. So I learned some new strategies, some new techniques that I wasn't really aware of before, or, these techniques you don't really get. Actually, they weren't available anywhere. I couldn't, because I spent most of my time trying to learn as much as possible for free. At the time, I had never paid for a course or anything like that. It was also self-taught. So the techniques that I learned there, I managed to build up a small account and show that as a track record to say, look, I've been using the firm's proprietary strategies. This is my 3-month track record. It wasn't that long, but it was like enough for me to then be allocated some capital. And so that was like the big opportunity for me to go from what I was doing before on my own to now being backed by a prop firm, and also having that development and training that is so essential. So that was just like a huge milestone where I was able to go from just doing everything on my own to then having a team around me, to then all of us are working together to ensure that we are trading effectively, staying disciplined, and that accountability really made a big difference.
Awesome. That's so great. I mean, I hardly ever hear from anyone on the show who's been in that position of being able to work in a prop firm and learn from other traders within the prop firm. Now, what were the sort of, if you had to sort of list off maybe 3 things that you walked away from there going, man, this was such a great experience because of these 3 things, what were they?
I would say number 1 would be accountability. As traders, we always fall into the typical traps, right? There's that emotion that sometimes we get a bit too excited. We get euphoric after a series of winners. And so we end up becoming blind. In those situations, just knowing that there's a risk manager there making sure that you're keeping to risk. There's senior traders there that will ask you twice, like, okay, what trade are you placing? What are you looking at today? Why is that? And then have you looked at this? And so it kind of like you have to explain yourself sometimes for specific trades, not because you have to. It's not the criteria. It's just part of the daily routine. It's like, okay, what we're looking at, guys. What are you trading today? What's set up? Why is that? What is your plan? And so when you're explaining the plan, even if you're feeling quite euphoric, sometimes you want to place a little bit more risk sometimes, but then the other trader, they might tell you, right, have you considered this though? But be careful with this because there's news coming out at 2:00. That kind of, and then that kind of brings you back. It grounds you back to where what you're supposed to be doing, which is following your rules, sticking to the trading plan. Whereas when you're on your own, you don't have that sort of support system. So accountability is a big one because you don't want to let the team down either. Second thing is, I guess, that support system. So that support system where if you go for a few losses in a row, or you're having a bad week, or you're having a bad month, you've got that. You've got the traders around you who've been there. They know what it's like, and that support system as well. Sometimes, the fund manager will say, "Look, just take the day off," or look, just chill out. Here's a spa day. Go relax. That actually happened. It was just that kind of support system that on your own, it's very difficult to get because, and so that's why a lot of traders will struggle. Whereas in the prop firm space, it's just that support system is great. The third thing, I guess, would be the ability to learn from more experienced traders. And so not only are you learning strategies, which is like a small part of the entire process, the big part is the actual process itself. So you get to look at their routines. You get to look at the trading plan. You get to look at how they journal. And you get to look at how they backtest. So backtesting, we were backtesting a lot. Practically every single day we were doing some sort of backtest. And we were just sharing those ideas with each other or doing it at the same time. So that aspect of training and development, it just builds such good habits. It kind of, that aspect allows you to always be a student of the market. So you're always learning from others. You're learning from the market. You're adaptive to different market conditions. And so those are the three things that I think are that I've managed to. I was lucky enough to be part of, and I actually, even today, I'm still part of that sort of environment.
And so, were there any like crazy good traders in there that you were just like, oh man, this guy's unreal? And and what were they like? Oh, sorry, what was there? What do you think? Why do you think they were so good?
Well, there was one trader. He was a senior trader at the time. He's still an awesome trader now, actually. Yahya, my mentor, and he was based in Holland, and he had over a decade experience in trading. And what made him really good was just he was just fearless. Like he in some ways it was almost like he had this aggressive nature about him, right? But it wasn't, and there was good things and bad things about aggression, but when it comes to trading, having that fearlessness and all he had this sort of fearlessness but also this sort of like predator type personality. So he would always be on the hunt. He was just really that kind of, his character was that he was just in the market to go to hunt. And so this predator-like personality really worked well for him because as a predator, you're waiting for the right moment to strike. And so he would just wait. He'll wait for the right market condition. He'll wait for the entry criteria to be met. And then when he strikes, he comes in hard. There's no hesitation. That was such a good trait about him, that sort of fearlessness, that there was zero hesitation. It was just when he sees the opportunity, he seizes it. Yeah, that really taught me that when you've done the homework, when you've done the research, you've got your trading plan, when the trade is there, just take it. even if you feel the hesitation, even if you feel a bit fearful, just take it. So I think that's what made him such a great trader, is that sort of fearlessness, that sort of aggression, predator-like character.
Cool. And was there, if you had to sort of mention the craziest thing you saw, what was that?
Wow. Okay. So the craziest thing was we had a client who was based in the UAE, and we got introduced to him, and he had a bad experience with a previous fund manager. So this was a big client, and when we got introduced to him, he saw our track record, he saw what we can do, and he was like, look, if you guys can turn this around, if you guys can make back what the previous fund manager couldn't do, or what he lost, then I'll be giving you guys more capital. And so we started off with an account that we had to basically build up. It was crazy because the client, it wasn't a good client to have, because he wanted results within that 3 months. Otherwise, he was completely out. So he was like, right, can you make some sort of a return in the next 3 months? Otherwise, this is something that I'm gonna put my money elsewhere. And so we were like, okay, let's do this. So this is an account that actually the whole team ended up trading. It was about 350K or something like that. And we had to get it up. Our target was to get it up to 1 million. And if we did that, then the client would be putting in a few more 7 figures in for us. So we were like, all right, let's do this. It's time to prove ourselves. And so this was in 2019. And it was crazy because we managed to double it, and then it got brought down again. We took a couple of hits because we were doing high risk. We were doing like 5% risk on some of the positions. We were putting in like 10, 20, 30 lot positions sometimes. So a lot of the time we were scalping gold. Gold was just moving really nice. It was it was Q4 of 2019, and gold was moving really nice, especially for sort of intraday scalping, and that's what we were doing. And with the FX trades, the market was trending really nice as well. There was some really nice swings, so we were getting intraday entries or like scalping entries, we were like getting 10, 15, 20 pip stops, but we were getting 50, 80, sometimes 100 pip targets. So the risk rewards were amazing in FX. And so we managed to actually, after, like, it was crazy. I've never done that type of like high risk trading, but it was like flipping an account. We managed to get it just under $1 million, and it was just in time for Christmas. We just took some time off. We celebrated it. It was great. And so that was one of the crazy experiences that I experienced at that prop.
Awesome. Brilliant story. Great. And what, did the guy come on as a client, or did he go? He did. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he came on as a client. It was that's what we were. So it was such a great achievement. But then after that, we really dialed down the risk. It was just like, nah. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, let's move on with the interview here. So, look, I know you're going to show us your strategy in a video after this. So what I won't do is go into that. Do you want to sort of finish off like where you've got to now with CTI and how you ended up with City Traders Imperium?
So that same period, Q4 of 2019, that same period, although it was a crazy fun experience flipping an account, in fact, it took its toll on me physically and mentally as well. It was just so draining. As you know, I live in Essex, so it's like an hour and a half commute to London, and my wife and my daughter live in Essex. I was in London. Sometimes I was staying in London a few nights in the week, and that just took its toll, both from a personal aspect, physical as well, mental. It was very draining, and I just thought, I can't keep up with this. It was just like 3-4 hour commutes every day sometimes, whilst obviously the pressure of having to perform with trading, it was it sounded like fun, but it actually, in fact, it's not sustainable, right? You can't sustain high performance like for too long. So at the time I was like, right, I need to do something about this. I want to be able to work from home. The prop was it was like high. They took security and privacy and confidentiality very seriously. So I wasn't allowed to trade or manage any funds from home because anything can happen, right? I can make a mistake, but if I'm in the office, at least the team is there to rectify any errors. So I started looking around. I jumped on Google, I looked for remote prop firms, and bam, City Traders Imperium came up. So I decided to take the evaluation challenge. This was around August, September 2019. And the same trades that I was taking to flip that account with that prop firm I was with, I was taking the same trades in the CTI evaluation. So I was following the same strategy, same entries, but I was just like managing a different account. A lot of it was actually trading on the phone because I had to be very discretional about what I was doing. So I was like doing everything properly on the PC, and I had multiple screens, but I was actually taking CTI trades on my phone. Luckily it was MT4, so it's quite easy. And I managed to pass the CTI evaluation in about, I hit the target in about 3 weeks. But I had to meet the minimum trade criteria and also the minimum active trading days. So in fact, it took me about 2 months to actually pass the evaluation. And when I passed the evaluation, they gave me about 50K. So I continued to trade that. And eventually, once the capital was growing, I decided to quit that prop firm in London and actually just work from home full time with CDI. And so when that transition was happening, I decided, because I'm a type of person that when I do business with people, I like to meet them, right? So I called up Martin, who's this co-founder of City, and I set up a meeting. I said, look, I want to meet you guys. I want to see what this is all about, because at the same time, I wanted to ensure that it was real. It wasn't like, because I was taking a big decision of quitting that prop in order to work from home. That's a big decision financially. So I wanted to make sure that the people I'm working with, or I guess I'm managing their capital, are the real deal. And so I met up with them in Canary Wharf. They had an office there at the time. And Daniel and Martin are such great guys. We got along really well. And they told me about their vision at City, and I was like, I love this. I love you guys. It's like, you guys are the type of traders or the type of people that I want to surround myself with. So we had a few meetings, and eventually I just proposed to them. I said, look, I want to manage your capital, but I also want to be part of developing and coaching traders, because that's something that I'm very passionate about. That's something that I love to do, and that's something I've been doing for years. And trading is a performance career, right? And we're here to make money as traders, and it gets to the point where you're just trading the same setups, you're trading the same edge over and over again, and so you can easily fall into a trap where you're not getting much fulfillment from the job or from the role. So for me, the way I get my fulfillment is being part of the market, but at the same time interacting with other traders and being able to share my experiences, share wisdom, and be able to see traders progress and develop. That really does motivate me on a daily basis. And I get to do that as the performance coach for City. I helped Daniel build the mastermind, right? So Daniel and I, we put our heads together. He's got over a decade of coaching and mentoring. And so when we put our heads together, we created what's called now the mastermind. And I get to part my wisdom. I get to interact with other traders. I get to share my setups. And so that is, I'm basically doing what I love. I get to manage capital, which is great. But at the same time, I get to coach traders. And so it's never boring. it's always something interesting, something new. There's always a new challenge. There's always an individual who requires something specific about their edge. It might be technical. It might be to do with their routine. It might be to do with their behavioral patterns. Whatever the case that may be, each member has their own requirements, and it's up to myself, it's up to the other coaches to find out what the solution is. And in the end, it's actually the trader themselves that know what the solution is. It's just us kind of guiding them, pushing them in the right direction. So that's that's how I got into City, and that's what I currently do, and so I absolutely love what I do.
Awesome. Well, look, we're going to whip through some of these other questions here, and actually my first question is, if you had to sort of describe your strategy, like what kind of strategy are you using?
I would say it's a combination of smart money concepts, Wyckoff, and Elliott Wave.
Cool. Now, we sort of know what your day is probably going to be like. What do you reckon about... Well, let's just jump into the trader's mindset stuff. So if you had to explain, you had to give us some tips on how to get your mindset right, what would those tips be, especially given the fact you had a psychology degree in there as well?
So to get the mindset on point, you need to be in line. You need to have some sort of equilibrium between your self-awareness, your physical state, so your actual physiology, and your cognitive state. And so the best way to do that is through reaching peak performance. So to reach your peak performance, you need to be in the habit of regular exercise, good rest, 6 to 8 hours sleep, find that sort of balance in between that. Healthy, clean eating. So you should be eating clean at least 4 to 5 days a week. You can have your odd cheat day, but you need to be on point with your nutrition, well hydrated, rest, regular exercise. So with exercise, you can do things like HIIT workouts. HIIT workouts are fantastic for interval, high intense training, strength training as well. That kind of stuff is like the physiological aspect. That gets you it helps with increasing your memory. Exercise helps with reducing anxiety and stress, reducing fear and hesitation. And it also improves memory. There's just, all the research is out there for exercise. I'm not going to get too much into it. Now, from the cognitive aspect, for me, what's helped me and what's helped my students is regular journaling. So you need to journal everything that you do, not just in trading, but in life. It's important to build the habit of journaling. And also build the habit of reviewing that journal at least once a week. So I will review what I did every single day, but I will do a bit deeper review once a week or bi-weekly. That's very important. That's sort of advanced self-review is so key. And from the cognitive aspect as well, meditation is something that I do in my daily practice, as well as visualization. So meditation and visualization is tied in with mindfulness. So I do a lot of mindfulness practice multiple times a day. So it literally now takes me just a few minutes just to kind of reach that level of awareness, that present moment awareness. And so that the combination of exercise, meditation, visualization, and self-review, that is those are the key things that you need to be able to kind of maintain and sustain peak performance. And that will allow you then to identify sort of your trigger points. So when you start to become very self-aware, you will then identify behaviors and patterns in your trading, in your emotions, in your cognitive patterns, actual trading patterns. You can use all those patterns and find out, right, what triggers good trading, what triggers bad trading. And then when you focus on eliminating the triggers that impacts negative trading, you try to minimize those. And the triggers that sort of encourage positive trading, exercise, good eating, good rest, you're going to enforce that more into your daily routine, into your daily habit. those are the key sort of elements, I would say, of, just briefly, of how to maintain that trader mindset, sustain it, and be at peak performance on a consistent basis, because that is how you are going to succeed as a trader, is reaching that level and being able to be consistent with it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, look, we're going to dive into the quick fire round. It's going to be pretty quick and short. So first question is, do you have a recommended trading book or resource?
Yes. So right now, my main one is The Trading Coach by Dr. Brett Steenberger.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that. What about preferred broker and trading platform?
Preferred broker and trading platform, I would say right now it's, I quite enjoyed the two, MetaTrader 4, quite used to it. I've got some software that helps me automate my risk management. So MT4, it does everything that I need it to do. And preferred broker, I would say IC Markets. They're really good for scalping because of the spread. So yeah, those are my two.
Hey, you ever wonder what broker I use? Well, I use Hanko Trade. It was a no-brainer because I was looking for a broker with good trading conditions and no restrictions on trading my strategies. But one of the main reasons was their raw ECN spread, which could challenge any other broker you're trading with. Learn more at hankotrade.com or click the link in the description. Cool. Now, last question of the show. If you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would it be?
So as a trader, you need to develop and build the habit and knowledge and focus on self-awareness. If you can understand and know yourself, that is going to help you identify the triggers that are going to either get you into a bad trade or get you into a good trade. If you understand yourself, you will understand and identify these patterns in your behavior before you commit them. So self-awareness through meditation and journaling and self-review. Those are the things that you need to focus on as a trader. And this kind of encompasses trading psychology and having that solid trader mindset.
Awesome. Well, look, before we wrap up, what's the best way for the guys to get hold of you?
So you can contact me. You can reach me on Instagram. I've got a profile on there, rodrigo.fxtrader. You can also reach me through Citi, so citytradersimperium.com. We've got different places you can reach me on via Discord. So we have a Discord community of over 2,000 traders. I'm active on there every single day. So you can reach me via Discord. So that's you can share the link somewhere around this video and you'll be able to find me, no problem.
Yeah, we'll chuck a link in the show notes. So look, a big thank you to Rodrigo for sharing with us today. Everything we've discussed here, along with all the links, are in the show notes. To find them, simply search for Rodrigo in the search box on tradingnut.com. Until next time, wish all my listeners trading happiness and success. All right, folks, so there you have it. Interview with Rodrigo, done and dusted. Hope you loved that. I loved it. I couldn't believe his story in the end. Well, I could believe it. I just couldn't believe how good it was. Right, so we've got Scalper vs. Scalper coming up. Do remember, check that out. Subscribe on YouTube to get alerted when these go live. You've got to click that bell and you've got to click all as well to get the alerts when new things hit the channel. And do remember, you're going to see that software that I built as part of my Robot Builders Club in the Scalper vs. Scalper. So if you do want to join my Robot Builders Club and build little bits of kit like this, or even something a bit bigger that can fully automate your entire trading strategy, then you've got to go and check out my Robot Builders Club while the doors are still open. All right, folks, until next time, I wish you have a great trading week, and I'll see you in the markets.